It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hello, you're watching the Eagle Community Television Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week, and our guest this week, Miss Sierra Archer, and she is, you're running for Miss Kansas. You're in for the pageant Miss Kansas.
Yes.
But also you have the current title of Miss Fort Hays State University, right?
Yes, I
Now,
do.
how does that all come about? And we're going to kind of get into all of that as we go along here, but a Fort Hays State University student, right?
Yes.
Now, what brought you to Fort Hays State University, and where are you from?
Well, I'm from Valley Center, Kansas, and originally when I was on my quest to find a college, I was looking for a school that wasn't too big but wasn't too small, and that's kind of how I found Fort Hays State University and went ahead and just took a leap of faith, and I've enjoyed it ever since. So,
do you have other classmates that came to Fort Hays State University from where you're from?
So I came with my best friend from high school. We were roommates together, and then we joined the same sorority. So we've kind of hung tight for this entire journey, but it's mainly just been her.
Now, how about sorority life and all that Greek life? You enjoying that at Fort Hays State University?
Yes, it brought me to a lot of the different organizations that I was a part of. I think joining Delta Zeta really allowed me to branch out and meet a lot of new people, so it was a great opportunity for me.
And what year are you at Fort Hays?
I will be a senior.
A senior?
A senior.
Very good. So you're a senior at Fort Hays, or you will be a senior here at Fort Hays State University, and you're doing pageants, and what are you studying at Fort Hays?
I'm speech and language pathology.
Tell us a little bit about speech and language pathology. How'd you get into that? They say that a lot of students change their major 5 times. How have you done that throughout your career at Fort Hays?
Yes, I originally came as a nursing student. I had my CNA, I was ready to go. And then when I started getting more into the classes, I realized that nursing was not for me. So I was just looking around, and for Delta Zeta, the philanthropy is the speech and hearing impaired, and that's how I got started with my speech and language pathology, and I really enjoyed our philanthropy, so I think I'll just make a career out of it.
And I think that's what's great about Fort Hays State University, or any university really, is students getting involved in organizations, because they can learn, they can expand their horizons, and they might find something in life that they didn't even think about that might be their new quest. Kind of like pageants for you too. You didn't go into this thinking you were going to be a pageant queen, did you?
No, I've never done a pageant in my life.
See, that was going to be another question I had for you. Have you ever been in any pageants? So nothing before.
Nothing.
And then how did this whole pageant thing come about?
So when I won my homecoming title here at Fort Hays, I got an email saying that this was something that I could do with my title. They gave me a lot of information about the process and what I would have to do to become eligible. And I made the mistake of telling my mom. And then I was pretty much very highly recommended to go, but it's been one of the best decisions that I've done.
So your mom kind of pushed you along on
yes,
this too?
Yes, so thank you, Mom. But
So with this whole Fort Hays State University title that you have, how many people did you run against just to get the homecoming queen?
So they start out, and every organization gets to offer up a person to represent them. And then we did the pageant, or not pageant, so stuck on pageants now,
yeah, that's
but
okay.
The homecoming process a little different this year. So you had to go in and actually interview with a panel of judges, which wasn't something that we ever had to do before. And then it got weeded out from there. And I believe I was up against 5 or 8 people around that number. And then we all walked out to the field, and that's when they crowned the winner. So.
Wow. So that was kind of a big thing. You kind of were like, wow, I made it.
Yeah, I had no idea. I remember we were walking out on the field, and I looked at the person my running mate, and I was like, where do you go if you win? Or where do we go and stand? Like, I was clueless for the entire situation. So it was a surprise, but I was excited.
Now, by winning that title, do you have to go out and do some speaking engagements and such?
You know, the homecoming title itself is primarily just a representative of our students. So Mirsa Martin has done a really good job of giving me opportunities to go out in the community and get to talk to people, and especially now that I'm running in this pageant, she's really allowed me to get out there and to do stuff with that title. So it's been really cool to be Miss Fort Hays and get to meet people and say that's my title or who I am now.
Now, since you won last year, can you run again next year and win again?
You know, I think that's a possibility, but I think mostly people are trying to get another representative up there, so.
And I think you'll be a little bit busy anyway by next year.
Yeah, I was like, I think I'm going to let someone else tackle it this time, but.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've learned a lot about you, and we're going to learn some more about you because you are now in the running for Miss Kansas pageant, right?
Yes, I am.
So we'll talk to you about that in the second half of the show, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, it's Sierra Archer, our guest today on the Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. The Forum brought to you by Hays Med.
Hays Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hays Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hays Med, helping people be healthy.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to the Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman, and Sierra Archer is our guest this week, and she is Miss Fort Hays State University running for Miss Kansas, and that's what we're going to get into here in the second half of the show. So now you are going to be in the running for Miss Kansas. How did that all come about? And we're going to talk about that process here as we go along in the second half of the show.
Okay. Like I said before, basically I just got an email and that's kind of how I said yes. And then once I did say yes, this was something that I was going to do, then it was a lot of paperwork, a lot of figuring out what my official title was going to be. I had to get permission from the university officials. So it was this big, long process to actually get me eligible and ready to go for it. So.
Wow, that seems like a lot of stuff that you had to do. Thanks, Mom. Again, go back to that.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mom.
So Miss Kansas, you're going to be running for that. In Miss Kansas, is it like other show? You have to come up with a talent and you have to come up with a speech and all of that stuff. What's your talent going to be?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing a monologue, and actually while I give the monologue, it's about autism. I work with children in a preschool and they all have autism, so I'm giving a speech about my experiences, and I'm actually putting a giant puzzle piece together as I give my monologue. So it's going to be kind of like a poetry type presentation.
Well, yeah, and the puzzle piece kind of fits into the autism thing because that's kind of their whole logo. So that's kind of nice that you're doing that. Now, when do you have to have this presentation down? And leading up to Miss Kansas, are there other events that you have to do to qualify to get into it? Yes.
So there was different qualifications that you had to do before we actually move in on June 4th. One of the things we had to do was raise a minimum of $230. So that's something that I've been working towards, and all of that money goes to the Children's Miracle Network. They have a partnership with the Miss Miracle organization, so that's something that I've been working towards and trying to raise as much money as possible for them. And then, yeah, obviously a lot of practice for my talent and getting that ready to go by the time that we move in and have all my props together and make sure I'm completely comfortable with it before I step on stage and go for it. So
I would think that would be kind of nerve-wracking a little bit with all those other people, and they're going to be just as nervous as you are going into this and just making sure that you got everything right. So when does that all occur?
So we'll move in on June 4th, and then that Tuesday and Wednesday is when we're doing talent and evening wear and swimwear. So I go on Tuesday. I'm contestant number 16. So I will give my talent then, and then on Wednesday we do the evening and swimwear portion. So it's split into 2 different days.
And where does this occur at? Wichita, Topeka?
Pratt, Kansas.
Pratt, Kansas. Okay, I guess that's where they have been doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so once you're there, you do this whole event, and what happens? Is there like after you go Tuesday, then is there another day where everybody gets together and they've pared it down to the finalists?
Yes. So Tuesday and Wednesday are considered your prelim nights, and then they will do top 10 and then top 5, and that all happens on Friday and Saturday. So it's an entire week-long extravaganza.
And since your mom opened the can of worms on this whole thing, will she be there for the whole thing?
Of course she will. She is very excited.
Well, very good, and good luck with this. And I know that's going to be a lot of work for you on top of your studies, but I guess you've got the summer months to do that. Taking classes over the summer too?
I am. I'm taking 1 online class.
Okay. So that's not going to hold you down. You can work on all your talents and your monologue and all that.
Exactly. I will have some time to prepare myself. So.
Well, very good, and good luck with all this, and congratulations on all that you've won already.
No, thank you very much.
So Sierra Archer, you want to maybe wish her well. You can do that if you see her around town. Senior at Fort Hays State University, for Miss Fort Hays State University, and also running for Miss Kansas. I want to thank you for joining us today on the forum, brought to you by Hayes Med. I'm Mike Kerner, in for Gary Shorman. Thanks for being a part of our show today.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.